Hello everybody, and of course welcome to the ESPL Weekly Series number 5. I am your caster Briefcase. Along with me is the lovely co-caster Mito, and we are bringing you this game, this second semifinals game between Bananas in Pyjamas over there on the Dire and Division Game Club on the Radiant. For any of you just tuning in, specifically maybe you people from Dota 2 Lounge, ESPL, it's a weekly tournament, $100 on the line every single time when everything is said and done after 3 months of playing. So it should be what, January, February, March? The end of March there. We'll be having a main event. The prize pool so far is at $7,800, and of course we're going to be having Cloud and I believe Sigma Gaming coming along for the ride there with the top 6 teams from this league coming and playing there. What was that, Mito?
Was so disappointed. Look at the bans once again.
Oh man.
They had Division Game Club. They have first pick, but they banned out Ember.
We're just never going to be able to see this guy play, and that's all I really cared about in this tournament today. I didn't care about seeing good Dota. I didn't care about seeing anything. I just wanted to see Ember.
I wanted to see good Dota, and we are getting good Dota.
I know, but come on. I just want to see the new hero.
Give Ember.
Oh, Zach, come on. Oh, well, either way. Slark and Ember, two of the funnest heroes. Not in the pool, but Division Game Club, they picked up Nyx Assassin at the very least, so that should be some good watching, and I'm hoping. But Bananas and Pyjamas, with a pretty strong lineup last time, they really do seem to favor, and of course they are the Panthers, and last time we saw this as well, they really do seem to favor these big team fight, nice synergistic teams right there. And I mean, I wonder if we're going to see them play a little bit differently, see if they're going to bust out some sort of different kind of strat. Right off the bat, not really trying to give too much away. Of course, Crystal Maiden and Mirana fit into pretty much any lineup and are very strong overall. So, I mean, what do you think we can see coming out of both of these teams right now? With Nyx Assassin on the board, I feel like Crystal Maiden's going to have to be looking over her shoulder all the time.
True, but one of the reasons why Crystal Maiden is such a top tier pick right now is because the hero, right? It's essentially a jungling hero that doesn't require another creep to come along. You yourself, you are the jungle army pretty much. When you have a support that's always constantly missing on the map and just shows up whenever he feels like it, that's your gank rate, first of all, is going to go up. Second of all, Crystal Maiden is always going to get farmed. And that's the thing, when you pick up a support like Crystal Maiden, it puts a lot of mental stress on other teams. Like, do we have to go aggressive trialing? Because if we don't, this Crystal Maiden is just going to farm up in the jungle, and when she does come out to rotate and gank, it will most likely be a pretty successful gank because no one's going to see it coming.
Very true. It does give that psychological terror of we haven't seen this one hero all game, and I have no idea where they are. And it's not the same feeling of something like a Lycan where you're not really worried if he comes to try and gank, because of course he's got pretty much no lockdown. But something like Crystal Maiden, like you were saying, unless they somehow punish her absence in lane, she can be very scary, dipping in and out wherever she pleases and farming the jungle pretty much all day long. And Bananas and Pyjamas now deciding to pick up the Nature's Prophet themselves. Looks like they just seem to not care at all about the Nyx Assassin, because when you look at something like a Nature's Prophet and a Crystal Maiden, both of those heroes quite susceptible to some big Nyx ganks, and he really does deal well with both of them in his own way.
Well, there we go. Division Game Club, that's going to be a high pressuring team, like with good pushing capabilities. So I'm predicting to see, like, say, either, well, I'm just going to name a few: Pugna, DP, or Dragon Knight. These are like the 3 staple heroes I can think about. Or even throw in a Tinker on top.
Just get some really strong push coming out of Division Game Club. Obviously, they already have the Chen available. Nyx Assassin can add quite a bit to that as well, just in impales and what have you, and starting fights with Vendetta. But what do you think this laning setup is going to be? I suppose it depends on these next 2 heroes, but do you think we're going to be seeing a 2.5 lane with, say, Chen rotating in whenever he wants, with Rubik there, and maybe an off-lane Nyx? Or do you think they're going to go for a straight-up try and just kind of let somebody else take the off-lane solo as well?
It should be offlane Nyx. Support Rubik and Chen do roaming, helping out the Storm Spirit in the lanes. But it's interesting. You pick Banana and Pyjamas picked up the Mirana after the Nyx Assassin pick, and in Division they pick up the Chen after the Crystal Maiden pick. So it's like they have a strat in mind already. That's at least that's the way I see it. They have a strat in mind. They're just gonna go for it, disregarding what the opponent's gonna pick, and it kind of reflects that these are some of the heroes that's their strength, and they're gonna stick with it because they're gonna use the things that they're the most familiar with.
And now it just feels like I don't know what Division Game Club is really going to do. It seems like Bananas Pyjamas maybe trying to bait out a Bane with that Lifestealer there. Obviously, they could take the Bane themselves and get the Mirana, but I feel like if Division Game Club gets a Bane themselves to try and deal with the Lifestealer, there's going to be some pretty high-profile targets to have to try and deal with in Nature's Prophet and Mirana doing damage as well that I don't know if they really need Bane right now, so I guess it just depends on what route they're planning to go. What do you see both of these teams picking up right now?
Well, I think in terms of Bananas and Pyjamas, they can pick up a Shadow Demon. That hero hasn't been banned, and whenever you have a Nyx Assassin engagement or even Storm Spirit, you can always disrupt either your teammate or the opponent's hero, because it doesn't do any damage when you first initially disrupt. So the Spike Carapace won't proc anything. At the same time, it sets up nicely for Mirana arrows. But instead, they go for a very complete setup as well with the Earthshaker. Yeah, so looking good as well. A lot of counter initiation. You try to engage, then Earthshaker is just going to stand in the back, throw out those big fissures, as well as you have really good dual roaming capabilities from both teams. Crystal Maiden plus Earthshaker. When Crystal Maiden is missing, shows up with Earthshaker, that long range fissure stun, followed up by Crystal Nova, Frostbite, into Mirana arrows, or even like fissure into arrows. They just have so many combos they can pull off. And later on, you might even see Earthshaker with Blink Dagger, and that would be like what? An Earthshaker Lifestealer Bomb?
Yeah.
Pretty epic, right? I mean,
yeah, pretty
Echo
terrifying.
Slam is already. Your screen is already shaking with it, and then suddenly you have like blood spilling everywhere, so it's devastating.
Oh yeah, and I mean, from the looks of it, neither team going for any sort of, I don't want to call it cheesy, but not going for any of these kind of all-in strategies. Obviously, Division Game Club has some nice ganking potential in Storm and Nyx Assassin. Maybe a little bit less as far as the AoE damage goes, but still very strong, and both of these teams just feeling incredibly well-rounded. Neither of them, I would say, going for, one style of play over the other. Perhaps Division Game Clubs has a slightly better ganking lineup, but with Nature's Prophet and Earthshaker and Crystal Maiden able to roam, not to mention Mirana's Moonlight Shadow, just both of them both lineups feeling very complete, very whole, and not really suffering from a lack of anything at the moment. Maybe they don't have really that much push on DGC, but they have Chen, so everything's just very, very balanced right now.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. Let's introduce the players as they're rotating around, buying up the items, whatnot.
Oh, dude, up. You took...
On DGC, yeah, we have Shad playing as the carry Slaughter. Perez gonna be on the support Chen. Phoenix gonna be the other support, playing the Rubik. And mid, we have Suitcase once again playing the Storm Spirit. And down at bot, we're gonna have Crystal Cross playing as the Nyx Assassin. And he got pulled quite a bit. 2 tangos as well as an Observer Ward, starting out with Boots. Another set of tangos and a Clarity, so that's quite a lot being given to him.
We have this level 1 smoke going down, and of course not going to find anything. DGC playing this very safe. In fact, not a single hero even going towards the tier 2 or tier 1 in prep or anything along those lines, and nothing too much going to happen there, but they do get some ward blocks for their troubles. Gonna try and make Chen's life a little bit more difficult, but it doesn't even look like Perez Dota is going into the jungle immediately. Might actually just be sticking to the dire jungle up top and trying to make some work happen there. And of course, with Slardar and Phoenix, this Rubik lift into stun, and if he gets something like a Centaur, that can work really nicely for him as well. I mean, that's some first blood potential up top, just in those like really bare bones skills right now.
And we haven't gone over the die team.
Oh god, you're right. My bad. Oh baby, let me fire this one off really quickly. TJ is the Marana right now. We have Shiny gonna be playing this Crystal Maiden. Up top, we're gonna have Kipo as the Earthshaker, supporting up the Senior Hydra, and on that off lane, we're gonna having Kriz with the Nature's Prophet, picking up that haste rune, gonna be very safe for his troubles right there. And yeah, it seems to be like Chen is just hanging out, gonna be hanging out in the dire jungle, and that's a little bit unfortunate. These wards not gonna really be doing too much at all. Obviously, with only having Kipo up here, you're going to need to rotate Shiny up here as well to really make sure that this lane goes well for Bananas and Pyjamas. Otherwise, Perez Dota is just going to be having too good of a time in their opposing jungle, and going to be a little bit difficult. They now block the pull camp as well, and Lifestealer against Slardar, it's never really a good matchup.
Not a good matchup for who?
It's not a good matchup for Slardar, or for Lifestealer, I'd say. Slardar just, I mean, he's got Bash, he can always sprint away as well, and I mean, he should be able to get out. Even with open wounds, if he does use it, it's not going to be, he's not going to be able to land every single hit, and because of that, ooh, nice little block, and Phoenix actually in a heap of trouble. Beautiful block, they eat a tree and try and get him out of here, and he's still kind of stuck, but actually, they can rotate around because of that tree. Now Senior Hydra really far forward, not too sure what to do. It looks like everybody's splitting up. Senior Hydra, though, deep in enemy territory, trying to make something happen. Kipo does not have the mana for another fissure, and that is one of the biggest problems. And now Shiny getting body blocked, stunned, Centaur Stomp, can't quite land, but there's your first blood. Going the way of DGC, and just the stuns coming out of him. Too much to handle for that really slow and sad Crystal Maiden.
Oh, so right away we have the first blood, but it's very interesting. I haven't seen this Chen setup in a while. The last time I saw it was done by Navi. They run an aggressive trialing with a Chen just being constantly in the lane, and now it seems like they're gonna start rotating. This isn't a very good time to rotate though, because as you can see, the creep wave is pushing out towards the Radiant tier 1, and when this happens, it's very obvious that it's a rotation from the Radiant supports. Unless they go into the jungle and start farming away, then it'll be a complete different story.
Well, I mean, just given a little bit of rune control, I suppose, not really the most important of things. I suppose Suitcase has just gotten his bottle, but he's actually doing quite nicely in the mid, has 4 more last hits than the Marana, now only 3, but still winning this mid, has his bottle quite a bit sooner, and now TJ finally getting his bottle, going to be getting it shortly, but just needs to be quite careful of Storm Spirit. He's actually, ooh, it actually looks like TJ leading as far as experience is concerned, though. Somehow.
We have the Crystal Maiden rotating in. This is what we've spoken of. You never know where this hero is. Is he on the lane? Is he like somewhere close by? Is he farming in the jungle? You don't know.
It looks like TJ maybe being a little bit ballsy here, but they really do just need to land. If they can get the Frostbite into Arrow, that will definitely be enough. TJ now salving up, trying to make something happen onto Suitcase. Up top, everybody playing very defensively. Slardar can just be as far forward as he could ever want. And now TJ, they just can't seem to make anything happen. This one little creep just being a horrible nuisance. It looks like they might be trying to make something happen now, but no, Shiny decides things are just not going their way, and a failed little rotation, and that's a lot of time eaten up for this Crystal Maiden. As far as the bot is concerned, however, Nature's Prophet having a very nice lane for his troubles. Up to 22 last hits over Crystal Cross's 11, so not too much happening there. Perez, everybody up top just doing fine, and it's just so scary to go in. Yeah, you have Rage, but what happens if you get luckily bashed by the Slardar? And then as soon as Rage does end, you have Lift, you have Slardar Crush, you have a Centaur, or you did, and Dark Troll can just ensnare him even through Rage, so Senior Hydra in just a heap of trouble in this top lane, getting almost no farm.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin, sure, he's not winning in terms of the last hitting war, but he's pretty close to Arcane Boots, and he's almost level 6 as well. So do expect BIP to have sentries down in both the mid and the top lane. Because level 6 Nyx Assassin, you're going to expect that hero to make rotations happen. Unless you're ahead of the game, then you might just feel like sticking to your lane and just continue like holding back the Nature's Prophet a bit more. But so far, the game is pretty much in balance, so would be a nice push, especially they're running aggressive trialing, which means everyone's levels are pretty low. Because when you run Trilane versus Trilane, look at the Crystal Maiden, still level 2.
Ooh, Kipo looking for a
Yeah,
block.
but-
Almost gets it on Shad, but he
Oh.
just happens to move to the wrong side of the arrow. And now, turning it around, Senior Hydra actually thrown over the fissure himself. Pops his rage, and that lifesteal actually helping him out. Can't quite finish the job, and Shad now able to polish him off. And we have Nature's Prophet ult being used as well, just to see if they can't make anything happen. But Shad out of vision, so he's not going to be falling there. And so that fissure coming out of Kipo, actually a double-edged sword. Crystal Cross is now still here, does find a Kipo for his troubles, and looks like Shiny caught out as well. Phoenix so incredibly low. Kriz just wants to get one little hit, but it's gonna go the way of Senior Hydra, who has made his way back to the lane. So, I mean, things not going terrifically well for Bananas in Pyjamas, but they, at the very least, they get a little bit for their troubles, so not too terrible. Now TJ trying to make something happen onto Suitcase, and there it is. Arrow, did that land? Like, looks like the arrow going right through him. He needs to find wherever Suitcase is. Can't quite see him, though. He's hiding in the trees, and TJ now, what an unfortunate attempt on his life. Kipo was right over it. Nice fissure goes down to start that initiation, and TJ just can't polish him off near the end there.
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful setup between the Earthshaker as well as Mirana, but they just needed a little bit more oomph. If they only had the Crystal Nova somewhere, that would have been just enough to kill the Storm Spirit. But nonetheless, Suitcase gets out safely, and he's probably like taking a big breath, be like, yeah, sigh of relief. You know, it's like, wow, that was close.
Oh yeah.
And Crystal Cross, he's in position.
No
And
sentry
so is
down in the
Suitcase.
mid.
Say goodbye to TJ.
Yeah, TJ. Oh, fucking look at that. You see that pull out of the leap? Couldn't do a single thing.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. He had a nice reaction, tried to leap, but not against the Storm Spirit.
No.
It's just not gonna happen. But pulled
Pulled out there. What is Kipo doing? Not too sure. Looks like they're trying to make something happen, but Storm can obviously get in here. Perez getting fairly close to falling. Looks like he will indeed. Crystal Cross is waiting in the wings, and they find a Crystal Maiden. So, I mean, not the best of trades. Not too sure why they take that engagement, knowing that, well, one, you have a Dark Troll Summoner under Perez's control, and you combine all that with the fact that Storm can get there very shortly. You can't really see where Crystal Cross is at the moment, and because of all that, it looks like they're... Bananas and Pyjamas just really paying the price right there.
Oh yeah. It's just such an aggressive lineup coming out of DGC. BIP, it's a little bit harder to play. They require a lot more coordinations to get the kills necessary. And so far, they just can't really handle the amount of aggression coming out of DGC.
Yeah, not so much at the moment. And now, what has Slaughter just gotten? Anything good? He's got a Ring of Health, so gonna be going for that pretty tanky early game build on Vanguard. And it seems like DGC is still trying to be very aggressive throughout this game. Senior Hydra actually in a bit of trouble. Dark Troll is here. Doesn't even matter. They don't even need the Dark Troll. And Shad alone there could have done quite an obscene amount of damage, and did. Got the stun. Has his ult now. Has sprint to chase him down as well. One lucky bash going his way would have been a kill, but he's got all this support anyways, and now they can just go in, maybe force this tower down as well with the fact that they have the Dark Troll Summoner. He's got these Skeleton Warriors. That provides quite a bit of oomph to any push.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's happening. Looks like Kipo trying to make something happen on a Suitcase. Arrow flies, does get out of the way just in time, so he's going to be living right now. Obviously, has his ball lightning, can always get away, and it looks like they can't really turn anything around. But Kriz, there just looks like they're happy to trade a tier 1 for a tier 1, or the very least, not happy, but it's going to be happening anyways. So, I mean, still pretty even in that regard. Overall, though, if you look at the gold, DGC is starting to pull ahead ever so slightly. Experience, it's still pretty darn even, but I mean, DGC's lineup coming out of the gates very, very quickly. An incredibly aggressive lineup right now.
Yep, and with more towers being taken, right? It's interesting. It opens up a lot more ganking potential for DGC, but at the same time, BIP themselves have the split pushing option, as well as, I mean, Nature's Prophet, Furion Bomb. I mean, Lifestealer Bomb with the Furion, and then the Moonlight Shadow, which means Earthshaker can just walk in once he hits level 6, get Echo Slam off. And that's essentially what we were talking about.
Looks like they're trying to set something up onto Suitcase. Obviously, you're going to want Fissure to start. Maybe if you can land an arrow, but there, of course, is Crystal Cross and Perez waiting in the wings, and Suitcase feels that something's up, hides way back in the tower, and now Moonlight Shadow. No efficacy coming out of that whatsoever. You have Senior Hydra farming up these Ancients a little bit, but he's not having as good a time as Slardar is right now. Has 51 last hits comparatively to Lifestealer's 33 as far as kills and whatnot have you. He's got 4 assists as Shad, never actually got a kill himself, unfortunately. Lifestealer does have 1 for his trouble, so not too bad, but he's also died twice, so looks like Shad definitely winning in this farm contest. And that's got to make you at least a little bit worried, because Slardar is one of those other carries that does come online very quickly and does progress very nicely into the late game as well.
Slardar late game, it's okay. It's not the best because he farms way too slow. As
Dude,
a hero.
you don't like that? I like it.
No, I enjoy Slardar as a position 2 hero, and they have the Storm Spirit to back it up. I would say Slardar, once again, he's gonna become like the mid-game tank for them. That just goes in, soaks up all the damage, takes all the like,
Looks like up top, Suitcase just finding an easy kill against the Nature's Prophet all by his lonesome. Pops that Illusion Rune just to get as much damage as possible, but so sorry everybody watching at home.
Yeah, and because Suitcase, he went for a different build as well. I don't know if you noticed, he maxed Overload before he got anything else. He had 1 level in Static Remnant, 1 level in Electric Vortex, focus on the damage, because his team already has enough control without him. They have more than enough time to have the Rubik pull, Nyx Assassin stun, Slaughter stun, so decides to optimize his damage output during the early game phase. And I like this decision, like even though it's different from the norm of just saying 3 levels into the pull and then start getting overload.
Yeah, and I mean that's definitely working out for him. Nature's Prophet actually needs to be a little bit careful right now. He is getting close to that Necro, so he's not too far off. Going to be able to split push quite nicely in a little while, but still though, he's fairly squishy, especially against something like a Storm Spirit right now, who he's almost level 11, only going to get worse and worse the higher up that goes, and now you just have the rest of DGC waiting in the jungle, seeing if they can't find anybody, or just see if anybody basically falls into their trap, it looks like, but nothing happening right now. And obviously you have Crystal Maiden getting that nice little D ward, going to give them at least a little bit of vision, and they know a ward's there, so they should be D-warding that fairly shortly, I feel, as well.
Oh, and this time Suitcase is going for a very snowball heavy Storm Spirit, opting to go for that Bloodstone. And wow, this is looking great for DGC with the Bloodstone pickup, and then you just take away everything that VIP has. They have to stick as 5. It's pretty awkward, but now VIP, they all have to hide in the dark and get the split pushing going. And Chris can't even afford to split push too far out because he can easily get caught by one of the big heroes. Slardar, as well as Nyx, and of course the Storm Spirit, always being able to zip around. And this is only going to get worse with Nyx Assassin just being 300 gold away from that blink, and 1k gold for the Slardar. So once they pick up those items, then all the farming space will be completely gone for Bananas and Pyjamas.
Oh yeah, now everybody needs to be just so careful when they try to contest this tower going down. Obviously, there's not much that they can really do. Even TJ needs to be incredibly careful right now. While that is going on, you do have Senior Hydra as well as Kriz trying to knock on the top door of DGC and basically not give them anything for free, and now it looks like there should be a zip coming in out of Suitcase. There it is, indeed gonna land on Senior Hydra, but of course the Rage gonna prevent him from getting out of there. Shad, no lucky stun out of him. Doesn't really matter though, because Kriz still a little bit too far forward, and a little rotation coming out of Crystal Cross there along with the Vendetta, gonna be enough to polish him off. So I mean, they still get a kill. They didn't even lose this tier 1, so it just looks like DGC commanding how they want this game to go. And like you said, if this storm starts to snowball, and indeed that Perseverance does go towards a Bloodstone instead of a Lincoln Sphere or anything along those lines, I mean, this could be very difficult for Bananas and Pyjamas to really make anything happen, or even just split up at all.
Yeah, not only that, as soon as BIP saw the TP at top, right, they tried to engage on Perez at mid, but then he just used his summons to body block to perfection, so those follow-up or arrows could never go out.
Chris, I mean, he is getting his Necronomicon. It's going to be upgrading, you know, fairly shortly. But we do have a smoke now coming out from Kipo, and they really do need to start making some stuff happen with it. Looks like Phoenix, they do know that Chris is here. Once again, caught in a sticky situation. Moonlight Shadow not going to be doing a single thing, obviously. Phoenix with a nice little fissure, and it just, all of this is running down Chris until he falls. And obviously Shad getting a nice little bash there, but with amplified damage, Moonlight Shadow not going to be giving you a single thing. And it really just, I feel like DGC, they just need to start taking these pushes, using Chen to his utmost efficacy. He has his ult, obviously. He's got Mechanism. They just need to push in, take this tier 1, maybe the tier 2 on the bot, take this tier 1 in the mid, and then they can take the easiest Roches of their life with Shad on their team.
Yeah, and right now BIP, they can't afford to take a single fight because they don't have anyone with the mech. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. And Chen, if you have Hand of God plus mech, there's no way BIP can take a fight. Unless they aim... If you aim the Chen first, then you're just going to take so much damage from the rest of the heroes. But if you don't aim the Chen, then none of DGC's heroes are going to die. So they're going to be in a big dilemma for at least quite a while until they start getting more items on their cores like Mirana, Lifestealer, as well as the Nature's Prophet.
And now just the amount of mobility coming out of DGC seems to be like the next hurdle that BIP is going to be having a very difficult time with. Obviously you have Suitcase, he's able to zip around all day long with Ball Lightning. He's actually got a regen rune as well, so he can go across the entire map if he wants. But Shad's finished off his Blink Dagger. You also have Nyx Assassin who's finished off his Blink Dagger. So both of those heroes now able to initiate, and they've basically got 3 initiators on their team right now, and pretty much nobody on BIP should feel safe. Even Senior Hydra isn't guaranteed a way out with Rage and TP, simply because a lucky stun out of Shad, it will be enough to finish him, and then as soon as that happens, I mean, he cannot go tit for tat with him in a man fight. The amplified damage would just be way too much for him to deal with.
I don't like what DGC is doing though. They have all the items they need. Nyx Assassin has his Blink, so does Slaughter. Like, what more are they farming for? Perfect moment to start going all out aggression. BIP have nothing to offer in teamfights, and they just have to evade you. And when that happens, you can take your tier 1s, you can take the Roche, and there's no stopping you from snowballing completely out of control. But I don't know why. They're playing so passive, and it's just like, oh yeah, let's go back into Farm Fest, and giving BIP a lots of room to breathe.
Not only that, I mean, Suitcase, he's finished off his Bloodstone now as well, so everybody with the items they want, and it just looks like TJ probably still way too far forward. They don't even have a sentry down in the mid, I don't think, to guarantee that a Nyx Assassin isn't breathing down his neck. So, I mean, very difficult. And because they can't see where anybody is, obviously they see Kipo here, and the fact that they're taking these Ancients, this smoke going to be a little bit wasted, it looks like, and they're just rotating around the jungle. Not going to be finding anybody, of course, except TJ once he does go back to the mid, if that's where he's going. And, ooh, you need to be really careful of where you are right now. Oh, no, Mirana. Oh, I thought he was going to be running up this high ground.
So, there we go. The aggression, the pushes start to come out from DGC. But the mid tower is already being pressured, so now they have to start retreating. It's very weird. Why did they group up at top and start pushing the top instead of, say, taking the mid tier 1? The mid tier 1 is especially essential if you want to go for that Roche, as well as the dire bottom tier 2. These are the 2 goals that DGC should be focused on. Once you take these 2, well, apparently you need 3 because the tier 1 down at bot is still standing strong. But once you take out these 3 towers, that's when you can safely say, hey, we're going to go for Roche. And if BIP isn't close enough, they're not going to have the time to rotate.
Oh, big zip in coming out of Suitcase, finds a Kipo for his troubles. Arrow flies, though, is all a bluff, and now Kipo, can they actually polish him off before he gets away? They do indeed. Stolen Fissure, gonna be enough. Shad blinks in there, sees what he can do. BIP now doing whatever they possibly can. Perez maybe too far forward. It looks like BIP coming out quite ahead right now. Shad caught in some trees, doesn't have a way to actually get out now. Does get a beautiful stun on 2. Kipo looks like he's just about to fall. Can't quite get the stun off in time, but Shad now gonna fall. Looks like TJ in the trees. They do find a Nyx Assassin. And Suitcase, did you actually buy back? No, you didn't, so that's good for you. But, I mean, still, that engagement, it seems like it's DGC's fights to win. It's theirs to take, and yet that going really poorly for them. Looks like Storm Spirit just not able to do enough in there and getting massively stunned out of that bait from, excuse me, out of that bait from Earthshaker. Things just not going their way. They really do need Storm to do a lot more in those fights than, I mean, obviously die right away.
Well, if you're gonna push like this, right? This is just like one of the things that I find quite confusing. You're gonna go for pickups, sure, like Orchid, Bloodstone, great items. But if you're gonna go for constant pushes, shouldn't the first item always be BKB? Because imagine if Suitcase had BKB in that scenario. Rolls in, turns on BKB, goes on Earthshaker, doesn't look good, zip out. But instead, with the Bloodstone, he just gets perma-stun. And just dies, and then respawns, loses 3 of his charges, and his team gets wiped completely. So I always have some problems with Storm Spirit item choices.
Yeah, it's just never
just
perfect for
preference.
you. Is it? Just never perfect.
I do question, like, okay, I'm not being just like skeptical about other people's item builds, but I always feel
Arrow
like
flies.
it's so much
Ooh,
more
lands on
Spiral
Suitcase. That is a long stun, but there isn't too much of a follow-up coming out, and he's gonna get sent home anyways. So at the very least, taking him out of the fight. But Perez still very far forward. The fissure does indeed land. TJ all over him, and with the Crystal Nova gonna be enough. Starfall as well. Crystal Cross now in a heap of trouble. Kriz is here, and they get. Ooh, look at that sentry going down, and they actually get a free sentry for their trouble, so not too bad there at all. The Satyr, or Satyr, however you want to call it, able, or not quite able to take down that that sentry in time. And now looks like they might be going in for a Roche. I don't know if that's really the wisest of plays. Obviously, you have Suitcase who can zip in, and if Shad gets a big stun on a few, I mean, that's just gonna be game over.
It's a great time for Roche. You still have a couple of heroes down, and Mirana had the DD rune, and now this Illusion rune as well. They're just not too confident about like whether DGC have wards around that area, but yeah, it's that fight at top was just so costly for DGC. They had the advantage, and now you look at the difference. The XP just changed for about 8,000 XP difference, and gold it went down by around 6k as well. So.
Ooh,
now
arrow flies, lands on
on
Suitcase, there's a stun on 3, Roche still not quite dead yet, the Fissure goes down just to make sure that it doesn't. Senior Hydra, ooh, with the rage, actually lives through the zip-in from it. Crystal Maiden falls immediately. Kipo trying his very best. Doesn't look like he's getting out of this one alive. Everybody converging on him. And now it looks like Senior Hydra so incredibly close, having to armlet toggle. Suitcase barely living through all that, but a Necronomicon all over him. Bloodstone sacrifice to just get away from it all. And overall, I mean, yeah, Bananas and Pyjamas, they lost too. They were able to make a sacrifice out of that storm, however, and they got the Roche, and the Aegis actually wasn't quite popped on Senior Hydra, incredibly close to it though, so, I mean, overall, probably coming out ahead there.
Yeah, things are continually spin out of control for DGC. It's now they have to slow down and just kind of sit back. Perhaps the best bet is to have the Nyx Assassin wait for the Furion to make rotations, but at this point, even your Nyx Assassin can no longer take out the Nature's Prophet on his own. Nature's Prophet, he's getting tanky. He has around 1.5k HP, Necro 3. He has Sprout, which does no damage to Nyx Assassin, so if he gets a Sprout off nicely, then it's gonna be very, very hard.
Yeah, gonna be very safe, and I mean, Bananas and Pyjamas, they knew they were playing from behind early on. They actually stacked these Ancients, and they're doing it once again, just trying to get any little bit of extra gold in this that they possibly can. Suitcase actually needs to be a little bit careful here, feeling something's a little bit off, does indeed get out of there, and obviously is seeing what's going down with that Moonlight Shadow and the sentries as well. But what I thought was, and what felt like DGC's game to win, and when they were just commanding the pace of it, now seems like it's gone completely pear-shaped for them. BIP doing very nicely. Actually, now Mirana picking up the Invis rune. Not too sure if there's any way to follow up. There is obviously a dust on Crystal Cross and has the blink, but nobody wanting to really go there. They just can't see too much in the jungle, maybe fearing a little bit too much as well. But what I thought was DGC's game to win, now they seem to be on the ropes, having a hard time actually bringing it back.
Well, don't forget, we have seen some very, very strong plays out of DGC before. As well as, I mean, Storm. This hero is like a hero with infinite potentials. If he
Oh,
gains,
arrow
like,
flies,
oh,
lands
but
on
he-
Suitcase, actually almost melee range. Senior Hydra cannot quite get there in time, and now we have a counter initiating coming out. Shad, though, doesn't land the stun, and now in a heap of trouble. Fissure doesn't have his BKB quite yet. Senior Hydra just absolutely demolishing him. Crystal Cross actually getting destroyed there, getting a lucky bash as well, and now it looks like what was going to be the start of a Crystal Maiden ult just ends up being a little bit slow, and now Perez does send back that Storm Spirit, gonna be falling though, so at the very least, giving up his life a little bit better than your Storm Spirit, or I should say quite a bit better. Now the push can come out of BIP, and you actually have Chris coming to join in, and not to mention Senior Hydra, they still have the Aegis. It's still on them for a good 3 minutes. They can go in and really force out this barracks and force out, well, not buybacks because the cooldown is so low, but if they wanted to, but they're just going to clean up and take down the last tier 2.
Ooh, so a huge comeback by BIP so far. But don't forget, remember Gamers League, man. Remember what that Storm Spirit was doing? Zipping halfway across the map with the Abyssal Blade.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm hoping to see some big Storm comebacks. Like, personally,
Ooh,
I've
Shad
been
goes in,
enjoying
gets a
both team
blink,
playing.
gets the stun on 2. There's the zip in. Suitcase trying to do what he does. Kipo, though, getting his full combo off, able to stun the hell out of Suitcase as well as Shad now. And with that, Suitcase is basically out of mana. Can't polish off TJ now. And with that, this fight is just going so badly for them. Does actually land on Chris across that arrow, but with that, actually kills himself. But now, I'm not too sure it's going too well. Perez gonna be guaranteed to fall here, I think. Senior Hydra just needs to get within range, and now as we can see this, so close, finally does land it, and there it is. With that, who has buyback on this Radiant team? Shad does, Nyx Assassin does, so I'm not too worried about these barracks going down, but they can really force out those buybacks, or at the very least, get one of these towers down more than likely if they want to.
And once again, the Aegis is still standing strong. How much time does he have?
Got about a
Aegis,
minute,
do you know?
minute 30, I would say.
Oh, good support player, Brief. Always know the Roche timer.
What I've been pigeonholed into, my friend. Whenever I play in an in-house, it's always, what role can you play? And I say, oh, you know, whatever, anything. And they go, okay, you're gonna support because nobody else wants to.
LOTS, live with the support.
Yeah.
But Senior Hydra, with this ancients, like,
Ooh,
with him
Crystal
clearing out the
Cross
ancients, he has enough for Abyssal.
is gonna find him though, and it doesn't look like Storm Spirit quite close enough to finish him off. Aegis though, very close, and doesn't even matter.
GG
Crystal
plays.
Cross just blinks away, doesn't want to man fight this at all.
Yeah, there's no point as well. That's Aegis, and unless he can kill him for round 2,
Oh yeah, and I mean, right now, with the fact that Storm got this Bloodstone, I think that that's one of the defining factors in this matchup right now, is that he doesn't have an Orchid to silence, he doesn't have anything like a Sheepstick to stop any big combos. Looks like he's on his way to a Sheepstick if that's how he wants to play it. Could be a Lincoln's obviously as well, but if he, I just want to, like, he goes in and he tries to initiate on Earthshaker to stop any sort of stun combos, but he can't quite kill him now. He doesn't have the Orchid to really pump out that extra bit of damage to polish him off, and the Bloodstone's really not doing it for him. And Kipo is just abusing that. Last engagement, Shad went on him, got a stun, and then you also had your Suitcase go on him as well, and they just couldn't polish him off. He did die eventually, but he got his full combo off, and that was enough to really open up that team fight for his compadres there. And Lifestealer sitting pretty at 4,500 gold. He can just get an Abyssal any day he wants. But no, he's getting an
Suitcase
assault.
can't afford to have. He can't afford to have Triggerfinger no more. He needs to let Shad as well as Crystal Cross. They're the ones who need to initiate and soak up all the damage before he can go into cleanup. Storm has to be played as a cleanup hero right now. He's not going for the BKB. That's fine. He's going for the Sheepstick. That's fine as well. But with these item choices, he cannot be the one leading the charge. It has to be someone else. And the best one looking so far is going to be Shad. But at the same time, how are you going to deal with not an Abyssal, but an Assault Courier's Lifestealer? He's going to run in, chomp everyone. So, but I like this decision as well. Having a Assault Courier's on the Lifestealer gives your team everyone +5 armor, and you yourself get a lot more as well. And you get some decent attack speed, so why not?
Yeah, and I mean, I mean, not only that, gonna let them take towers just a little bit faster as well, because if I'm not mistaken, Assault Cuirass, that aura affects towers. Pretty damn sure of that.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, why not? It makes everybody a little bit more survivable, and especially someone like an Earthshaker and a Crystal Maiden, where even this late in the game, they only have their base armor, which is only 4, and I mean, they're quite weak supports as far as everything. Ooh, baby! Right in the mid, Phoenix, half of his HP gone with 1 Nature's Wrath. Oh my god, he actually just needs to TP home and regen, seeing that, wow, like 1 big hit of that level 3 Nature's Wrath, almost enough to kill him. And now it looks like Kriz, he does have a Lifestealer Bomb, but it's not going to be enough, and no, couldn't quite sheep that Storm Spirit in time to guarantee a kill there, so a little bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world.
Ooh, and now Nature's Prophet is going to pick up a Force Staff. He has all the components. He just needs to send the items over through the courier. If he gets impatient, he can always TP home. Which I don't think he's going to do.
No, not at all. I mean, oh, Roche actually not too far off, honestly. Only sitting and a little bit about 30 seconds or so, so not too far off, and it looks like Bananas and Pyjamas, they really do know it. They're keeping tabs on it right now. You have Kipo going in. Instead, it looks like they're just going to try and take these Ancients themselves, get a little bit of support money. Earthshaker's picked up his Blink Dagger, though, so he basically just needs to stick behind in every single fight and just reinitiate, because that's all he really needs to do, but he is taking an obscene amount of damage from these Ancients. Don't die, Kipo. Be careful there. Blink's out of the way. Let Shiny take a little bit, and I mean, wouldn't be surprised if Shiny makes her way into the Roche Pit now and sees if he's there, and he has indeed respawned. So, I mean, Bananas and Pyjamas really just looks like they need to get in there and take this Roche and then just push wherever they want. Because, yeah, you can't really have Kriz going alone, but now it just feels like he's almost always got a Lifestealer in him right now.
We need to see the Earthshaker Blood Bomb.
Oh, Crystal Cross. Gonna be annoying and attack Kriz. Not gonna be quite enough, but now he's turned into a pig with spikes at the very least, and Senior Hydra just gonna chomp and slap all the way through him.
What?
Ooh, not too sure why Crystal Cross made that decision. What's weird? What's up?
Okay, so he still had the Ghost Scepter, but he never used it. And that could have kept him alive for a bit longer, and forcing Nature's Prophet to at least they throw the Nature's, Wrath of Nature. Yeah, sorry.
Nature's Wrath of Nature. Now knowing that some of their initiation is down, Bananas and Pyjamas pretty much completely free to take this Roche. They obviously don't have a Slardar, so it's not going to be falling as drastically fast as you'd want, but it doesn't really matter. Senior Hydra, he's finished off his Assault. He's got his Basher, he's got Drums, he's got Armlet. Kriz, he's got Necro 3 and Scythe. Looks like TJ, he's got his Manta as well. Everybody's got kind of their nice main items. Crystal Maiden not quite at her BKB just yet. Of course, not the end of the world, but Kipo, he's got his Blink, so basically all the main items that Bananas and Pyjamas need to take fights, to take towers, they all have. So, I mean, they got that Aegis now as well. Might as well just push in, take what they can.
Ooh, and with every passing minute, VIP's lead is just getting bigger and bigger. Already over 15,000 gold advantage and, let's see, almost 14,000 XP advantage. It's scary to look at. A team who's supposed to snowball out of control ends up being the team, like, because of one bad engagement, turns the tide of the game and end up playing a lot more defensive and passively.
And I mean, if you look at the gold graph, you can see where that one engagement happened. It's just right around the 17 or 18 minute mark. Things just went horribly for them up there in the top lane, and man, they are really paying for it now. And now it just looks like, obviously we have Bananas and Pyjamas knocking on their door. They do have a fortification available, but what can they really do? Senior Hydra just slapping that tower left, right, and center. Suitcase gets in there, trying to make something happen. Senior Hydra does get stunned, got a couple Centaurs going down. Looks like we do have an Echo Stomp going down, or I shouldn't say Echo Stomp, but it doesn't matter. Echo Slam going down as well. Shot PKB right in the middle of things, doesn't really matter. Suitcase very, very low. Ooh, nice ult stolen by Rubik, but it isn't quite enough. Earthshaker, the first to fall. Rubik also dead already. Shiny is stunned right now, wants to get this freezing field off. off if he can. There it is, but of course, Spike Carapace just being saved for that. And it looks like Bananas and Pyjamas absolutely melting. They get the Aegis popped as well. You have Nature's Prophet sitting in the back. Can't really do too much. And now, can Senior Hydra make anything happen? Does get all of his armor removed, and that's probably why he got that Assault Cuirass. Finishes off with Perez, gets a Centaur as well. Needs to armlet toggle like a madman. Can't armlet toggle as a pig, so that engagement not really going the way of Bananas and Pyjamas, at the very least not how I thought it would, and just falling apart there as soon as they hit that high ground, breaking upon those racks like water on a rock, and just not doing too well.
Yeah, and the only present who bought back was the Rubik, surprisingly enough. Wow, this is so great for DGC. I'm personally hoping to see a Game 3, because I'm a big fan of those long, drawn-out games. And it's like, well, not really long and drawn-out, but I'd love to see best of 3s being played out to its maximum potential, just seeing two teams making it go at each other and constantly just having the game go back and forth. And now it feels like all of a sudden DGC, they're back into the game. The players are starting to push out a little bit more. They have a little bit more space to do what they want. Shad is pushing top. Storm Suitcase is just having a great time. He even picks up a regen rune. And now VIP have started asking the question, how far ahead are they? Can they really afford to go to the high ground? Or should they wait for the third Roshan? Or, for example, should they be giving the Aegis to Lifestealer or a different hero who can make a bigger impact? Because Lifestealer, he's already really hard to kill. In that fight, if some of his teammates survived, things might have looked differently.
Looks like we have TP in. It's also, there's a Force Staff to make sure he gets in range of Suitcase. No longer will he be able to zip out of here. And now, with that kill, gonna be going very nice, eating up some of those Bloodstone charges that he had accrued, of course, in that last team fight. And once again, knowing that he's down, wanting to force his buyback at least, it would appear, but not even too sure if they're going to need to do that. He is down for 20 more seconds. That Bloodstone working out very nicely. And an MKB now down on
Phoenix.
this Nature's Prophet right now. Arrow flies, actually goes right through the Satyrs, it looks like, and hits Perez. Not too bad. In-run Senior Hydra, try and make sure he's out of this team fight before it ever starts. And yes, indeed, that is exactly how it happens. Necronomicon's down as well. As long as the Manta Illusions, is going to be a lot of damage coming to this tower, but that backdoor regen doing quite a bit of work for them. Their creep wave hasn't quite made it, but they're eating through it. It doesn't seem to matter. And it looks like they're going to be taking both of these racks. They get a lane, and if they want, they can just back off now. No harm, no foul. Doesn't seem to really matter at the moment. Looks like Suitcase just trying to take down this Necro Warrior. Eats a 600 damage lightning bolt. Doesn't seem to really matter, however. And it looks like Bananas and Pyjamas happy to actually continue up with this push. They get a stun on a shot. Senior Hydra trying to do whatever he can. Throws down the open wounds with BKB being used. Suitcase now is in fact a pig. TJ doing whatever he possibly can. Shad now needs to be very careful. Open wounds just almost available. Abyssal actually goes down on him. As that's happening, you have Nyx Assassin in the back against Kriz and Shiny. Looks like Nature's Prophet very, very low indeed. Does indeed die, but buys back immediately as well. TJ, along with a freezing field, making sure that Nyx Assassin does not come out of there alive. And now, because Kriz has bought back, he's right back into the thick of things. We have this Nyx Assassin buying back as well, trying to make sure that they don't lose 2 lanes of racks that might be a bit too much for them to actually deal with, especially with the Nature's Prophet. Big fissure on 3. Phoenix, what can he do? He has an Echo Slam stolen, but he can't quite land it. Finally does, absolutely melts Senior Hydra. Didn't have Rage on during that engagement. Now Suitcase barely making it out of here. It looks like the Urn, they really do want to try and finish him off. TJ can't quite leap to victory there. As that's happening, it looks like Kipo does find a stun on Crystal Cross. Doesn't quite have Spike Carapace. Stun goes down, doesn't land on anybody, however, and it looks like they are going to get 2 lanes of racks. They're going to continue going up, see whatever they can find, and the only one available who actually has buyback is Storm Spirit right now. And I mean, that is Nature's Prophet's Necronomicon once again. He's used it like twice in this fight so far, so it just keeps going. So they get quite a lot of damage on this tier 3 on the top lane. They get 2 lanes of racks. That seems like just a match made in heaven if you're Nature's Prophet.
Well, in DGC, the heroes are not designed to deal with these kind of 2 racks down. They don't have the potential to hold out. They can defend, but it's like, who are you going to leave behind to go for those ganks? Say if you send out Nyx Assassin, Slaughter, and Storm to go get pickoffs. You can't transition that into a push. And that's one of the downside about having such a momentum-based lineup. And it's just I still have hope. Come on, like Suitcase, Shivas, and then just like I don't know, Dagon 5, Abyssal, you name it. Like I just don't want them to go down. Like at this stage. I mean, it's been great. Going back and forth. That first defense down there was brilliant, but yeah, nonetheless, it just feels like every time the Storm gets caught out, his whole team gets punished. And that's kind of been the story of the game so far. But Crystal Cross, I love it. I always love it when a Nyx Assassin is constantly scouting out, especially once you hit that level 16 and you have level 3 Vendetta. So you're just like rotating around, looking at, hey, where exactly are the opponents? What are they doing across the map?
Oh yeah, just making sure that no funny business is going on. And of course, Roche going to be up and available fairly shortly now, possibly, obviously. And then we'll see exactly how much extra time there will be. Oh, there is that slight possibility that he just shows up right as soon as it ticks away. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, and where's that Roshan? Come on.
Doesn't like you.
Oh, no, but it is a very fast Roshan. I mean, that's like 15 extra seconds, and that's about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's like nothing, man.
Really, really, really?
Like, look, he's almost spawned already.
Ooh, I'm just looking at it.
Oh, and Kipo finds him. Now with that, I mean, I guess you give it to, you can still give it to Lifestealer. He's still wearing some town portals there, so, I mean, they just really just need this, and then they can force whatever fight they want on the high ground, and just, like, Nature's Prophet, it's not even Lifestealer who's the big problem even right now. Kriz is just doing an obscene amount of damage. He's got MKB, he's got Necro 3, he's got Scythe, and he's doing pretty much, he's actually doing more damage than the Lifestealer is per hit right now. And just like, what do you really even do at this point if you are DGC? You can't really push out because Nature's Prophet, Lifestealer bombs, they've already been showing that they are very happy to do that. And so, just like, what do you even do?
Well, you hope to get pickoffs. And fingers crossed, smoke, wrap around, take out. If you can take out, say, the Nature's Prophet first, and I don't even know. I think this is too much to deal with.
Yeah.
This is way too much.
Seems like it. Arrow flies. Oh, lands on Phoenix. He's pretty much out for the little while. At least 4 seconds there. Fissure as well. Trying to make sure he doesn't get a single thing off. And they don't even need to fight these heroes. They just need to go straight for these racks, and that's it. Looks like Kriz pops his BKB. Suitcase pops his BKB as well. Doesn't matter, though. Abyssal is on the field. So with that, can't really do too much. Shad now. Also, pops his BKB, can't really do too much, and now since that's worn off, everything is said and done, and this has to indeed be the GG. And with that, looks like Bananas in Pyjamas, my childhood TV show, B1 and B2, you have done it, my friends, going to the finals against Team Druckwell. So some beautiful play coming out there, and Bananas in Pyjamas able to pull it back.
Yep, so that's 2 weeks in a row that we're going to see Bananas and Pyjamas make it into the finals. Yeah, so it's very exciting. It's always great to watch them play Dota. I love the way they stick around and kind of just play this really tight formation kind of Dota, and the teamwork is impeccable.
Oh yeah, so not too bad at all. And of course, thank you everybody for tuning in. There, I believe the finals will be Dota Lounge, so please go get those bets in, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you here in none too long of a time. And yeah, so just stay tuned. Thanks everybody for joining us. I've been Briefcase, bringing you this ESPL weekly series, and along with me, my lovely co-caster Mito.
Yeah, just can't wait for the finals. Ugh.
Well, here's hoping everything pans out well. So see you all